What up, y'all? So we back with another recap today. Honestly, we were gonna avoid trading today because it was no news Monday. But we got a really clean setup today. It did take a while because we didn't enter off the first entry. Not only because it was gonna stop us out, but I didn't want to risk too much on a day like this. But today, this is the trade we caught, and it was really simple. And let's get into his recap. You guys can see before the day started, we had a bullish bias for the day. Price went up to fill in the weekly gap that we had, and we go into our 15-minute time frame. We mark out the highs and the lows that the market gave us. And again, we just had a bullish bias for the day, so I'm waiting for some sort of manipulation, and so we can continue higher. And so we go into our 5-minute time frame. You guys can see up here, when we took out these highs, price reversed back down to take out these lows down here. And honestly, we could have continued to take out the lows down here, but price rejected it back up, and we got a rejection off this 15-minute fair value gap. So after we started rejecting off this gap, I was looking to go back up to these highs up here. So you guys can see we get the rejection off the gap. Price also creates this 5-minute fair value gap that we could potentially inverse and shoot room for higher. I like going into my 1-minute time frame because I like seeing clear reaction on price, and I also get better entries when you go into the 1-minute time frame. So you guys can see that once price starts rejecting off this 15-minute fair value gap, we inverse this 5-minute fair value gap above. So after the inverse, I'm looking to enter right about here. So we could look to fill up this 15-minute fair value gap up here. So you guys can see that after we inverse the 5-minute fair value gap, we enter. We set our stops to this low down here, because if price breaks above this low down here, we're going to look to inverse this 1-minute fair value gap and retrace back to this 15-minute fair value gap down here. But price didn't do that. You guys can see that we inverse this 5-minute fair value gap. We also create a 1-minute fair value gap right here. After we create this 1-minute gap, if we inverse this gap and we don't hold above 618, we could look to get out of this trade and possibly get a good entry for shorts. But you guys can see we do inverse this gap. We have a little break and retest on this 1-minute fair value gap, and we shoot room to higher. We set our TP right at this 15-minute fair value gap midpoint. You guys can see that we hit full TP and price started rejecting off this gap. Yeah, we would have hold. We probably would have shoot room for higher, but again, on a no news Monday, we don't really want to risk that much and take whatever we can get out of the pie. So for this trade, we came up and swept up these highs up here. We came back down, swept up the low, waiting for us to have an inverse on the lower time frame and also a break of structure. So that's why I entered this trade. If not, I honestly would have avoided today. We did catch a good 50 points, which is more than what we need. And hopefully tomorrow we could come back stronger. So you guys can see today was a really simple day. We stayed patient. We missed out on some entries, but if we would have entered, we honestly would have gotten stopped out. If we wouldn't have stayed patient, we would have lost money, and thankfully we did wait for the setup. If not, I would have been fine with just missing out for today. No news Monday typically doesn't have a lot of volatility. Price usually gets choppy. We don't have any news today. But luckily we did find a setup. We stayed patient. Again, we could have left some contracts running, but I didn't want to risk too much, especially having no news today. So honestly, it was just a really simple day today. Nothing crazy. This week we are looking to pass this eval and get our first payout next week. So as long as we stick to our rules, we don't force any trades that we don't have to, we'll make that payout. Again, I hope you guys do enjoy these recaps. I'll be dropping a fair value gap video and just how I use fair value gaps and how I entered off them, or how they affect my trading, just so you guys can get a better understanding on them. So I hope you guys do enjoy your rest of your days. God bless, and let's make this money.